All right, and welcome back. Another episode of Across the Board. It is Monday, December 22nd, and got a lot to cover. We're going to keep this one a little bit shorter than usual, but we're going to try to cover everything we want to. So let's get started then. We'll cover with start with covering some MLB news that has happened over the past, probably like week and a half. I don't think we covered anything last Monday. So these are just a few moves that were interesting to us, at least. December 13th, Kenley Jansen agreed to a one-year deal with the Detroit Tigers. Dustin May went to St. Louis. Merrill Kelly went to the Diamondbacks. Josh Bell going to the Twins. Dolius Garcia is going to the Phillies. Interesting move there. Hae-Sung Kim is staying with Atlanta Braves. Chris Martin staying with the Rangers. Luke Weaver is going to the Mets. Should be a great ad for them at pitcher. Jordan Romano's going to the Angels. A couple other ones to end off here. Shane Baz is going to the Orioles. And the big one probably of the last few days, Wilson Contreras is going to the Red Sox. So that should be pretty interesting. Oh, sorry, and Munetaka Murakami is going to the White Sox. So those are just a couple of interesting ones that have happened over the past week and a half that we haven't covered, and just wanted to mention. We'll get more into MLB come, more opening day. We just don't have a lot of time to cover those right now. So, but yeah, let's move on to college basketball. I know we talked about some games last week that we were interested in over the past, this week, slowing down going into Christmas week here. Usually college basketball is kind of slowing down during that time. Not many teams are playing big games, kind of moving from that non-conference schedule to the conference schedule come January. But a couple of interesting mentions over the past, week. A couple of interesting games. Tennessee beat Louisville last Tuesday. Yeah, Tennessee played a great game. Louisville did not. But good win for...
Especially after putting on the panic meter or distress meter too.
Yeah. Tennessee winning 83-62 in that game. Vassar at 26 points as well. On Wednesday, there was Vandy escaped a close game against Memphis in overtime. Won 77-70. That was a good game.
I saw something the other day, and I think it's like one of the most true statements I saw this year. That they said Memphis might be the best 4-7 team in the country.
I saw that as well.
They played some tough opponents for sure. I mean, they just had it rough, and I think they've all been within single digit games or single digit scores.
Yeah, they have been. They've lost to some good teams at the same time. Their losses have come to some teams that they should beat. Vandy's a good team though. Obviously ranked at 13th. Duke Miles had 22 points that game. But hey, close game for Vandy, but pulled it off. That's what you want to see from them, especially going into conference play in a couple weeks from now. See if they really have a chance to win the SEC. I know a lot of people have been talking about that recently, of whether or not who's going to win the SEC, and they're one of the teams up there. So we'll see whether or not they can do that. But moving on to a couple of other games. There's a lot of big games on Friday. Well, Friday, Saturday. There's a couple of big games. Seton Hall escaped a close one against Providence on Friday. That was a close game. Seton Hall. Close game there, 72-67. And hey, Seton Hall's getting the wins, man. They're looking a lot better than they were last year, and we talked about that a couple weeks ago. And or like a week ago, I think. And they're looking good. They're looking good, especially with the Big East not looking too great.
Yeah, I mean they could very well finish within top three of the Big East. They're gonna have a good matchup. I believe Tuesday they're gonna play Villanova. Um,
Yes.
I mean they're
Hmm.
they're playing well, and I mean we'll talk about a team later. But St. John's, have they been playing? This
Man.
they could very well finish, top the Big East. Obviously, UConn's gonna be the big name, of course, at the top of that.
Yeah.
But 2, 3, and 4 is kind of wide open. I would be
Yeah.
surprised Seton Hall went to number 2. That may be a crazy take, but they're playing well enough to be there.
Oh, for sure. With how good they look right now, they could definitely finish at least. I mean, they could finish second in the Big East. That's for sure, right behind UConn. But good game for them. Tahan Simpkins had 22 points in that game as well. And then comes Saturday. There's a lot of big games on Saturday. And just a couple of mentions. Late night game, Arizona, San Diego State. Man, San Diego State looked terrible. They looked
I,
horrendous.
at the first 10 minutes of that game, I was thinking, does San Diego State have what it takes? I mean, they were looking good.
They in the first half, both teams looked really sloppy. They didn't really play. Either one of them didn't play great in the first half. But
Yeah, they. I wouldn't say they really played well. It's just San Diego State had the lead, and I was thinking okay.
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
in the second half, with 9:37 left, I think they had only 9 points in the second half total.
it was bad. 45 points in total for San Diego State. One of the teams that should win the Mountain West.
They should, but we'll get to that game. Another game on Saturday. Actually, we'll just jump right into that game now. I want to mention Utah State, Colorado State.
Start
100.
conference play. Yeah,
This I thought this game would be close. Colorado State's a good team in the Mountain West, and Utah State just stomped on their throat. I
man,
mean,
Utah State looks like they should be. Well, they've got
they
to be
should
the
be
top
out
person
in,
in the Mountain
in,
West. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
it's their conference
usually,
to lose. I mean, I don't see. I mean, San Diego State has. I mean, San Diego State's going to be a good team. They've struggled a little bit. Boise State lost to Hawaii Pacific to start the year, and I mean, we'll see what they can move from there. This killed Colorado State. Um, Nevada's looking decent, but I mean, they might just run the Mountain West this year.
they might. The Mountain West isn't looking too great. It's looking like it might be a one bid conference this
Yeah,
year.
and
The only
I
other
think
team that I think right now that's looking good currently is New Mexico.
and
But other than
yeah,
that, San Diego State looks horrendous. Their offense is no good. Their defense is good, but their offense can do absolutely nothing. So for as good as the defense they have, they can't score enough. I mean, you held Arizona to 68 points, but you lost by 23.
that
Like,
should never happen.
no,
Play
no, it's 68-45, not. But that was a late night game. Started off good, ended bad. Jaden Bradley had 11 points in that game for Arizona. Um, Highest score for them too, so not great for Arizona. But next game, big game, great game as well. Texas Tech Duke,
what a game.
great game, amazing game. That's a very well. That could be a late March game easily. We could see that matchup again. And man, Texas Tech, man, they came out like cold. I mean, they didn't look too great. They had pretty much nothing going for them. Duke looked like it was probably going to run away with the game, just like we've seen him do, and then come out second half, and man,
It
Duke
kind of
just didn't. Duke didn't have any pop.
it kind of gave you flashbacks to last year in the Final Four when they played Houston. Look, they're going to run away, take away the game, and then all of a sudden, here's Texas Tech and here's Houston again.
Yeah,
I mean, it almost gave you flashbacks to that moment last year.
yeah, yeah. Not good for Duke. I mean, it's just like, man, they had every chance to win that game, and they just couldn't finish it off towards the end. Texas Tech did though, man. And look, JT Toppin wasn't playing great in the first half. He had a few fouls early on, had to sit for quite a while. Came in with the last 10 minutes of the game with 4 fouls. Played good, played aggressive, didn't foul out. But Christian Anderson took over that game pretty much for Texas Tech and said, "Hey, I'm going to win this game for us. That's what's got to be." And he scored 27. And it's a huge win for Texas Tech. I was kind of wondering I've been kind of, and I think other people have kind of wondered about Texas Tech in the sense of they've looked like a two-person team. Every night, it's really just two people, JT Toppin and Chris Anderson, for example. Like it looked like it's only been a two-person team, and they haven't been able to really have everybody contribute. But that on Saturday, they looked like the best team they could be, and they looked like a team that if they play like that and all the people contribute like that, they could easily compete for. They could get to the Final Four for sure if they could play like that, especially beating a team like Duke, giving them their first loss. I mean, hey, Duke had a chance there at the end, missed it, but like, gosh, they came back in that game, won it, looked complete, played great defense, great offense in the second half, and yeah, it's a big win for them moving forward. They'll have a hard stretch going right into Big 12 play. We'll really kind of see exactly what they're made of. I think they go Houston. I know they play Houston, Baylor somewhere in the first like 3 weeks.
I'm trying to remember who else they played. It was another good team, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah, but they'll play a lot of good teams come directly into conference play. So we'll really kind of see what they're made of. Um, so look forward to that. But great win for them. Some other games: Auburn, Purdue. Man, I don't know what to say about Auburn. They all their losses come against good teams. They've played great teams. Maybe that's a good thing, but they just don't. They don't look complete. Obviously, switching head coaches this year, but still, 88-60. Lose to Purdue by 28. It's a big win for Purdue. Kaufman ran at 18 points for them, but Auburn just didn't look too great. Purdue looked good, so that's good for Purdue fans. I know when they lost to Iowa State, when they lost Iowa State by big, everybody was kind of worried that maybe they're having some troubles, and people have kind of, I think, kind of pushed them off a little bit since they lost that game, and then other teams have been great. But Purdue's still a good team. They're still a great team. They showed that they can beat a team like Auburn, who's a decent team, and easily put them away. So good win for them. Then Houston, Arkansas, also a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Another amazing game for them. Sharp had 22 points in that for Houston, and Houston came out with the win at 94-85 over Arkansas. Good win.
Scored.
Yeah. They scored a lot. Their offense looked great, and as high of a score as this game looks like, their defense was good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when Houston scores a ton. Obviously, you're going to get chances if you're Arkansas to score the ball because that's just how fast paced the game is. But they kind of smothered Arkansas and smothered their shots to start off.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The score doesn't show it, but Houston plays some good defense. Like I said, the score wasn't going to show much, but they really played good defense and they scored the ball. Kelvin Sampson, good coach. We knew we'd have this team ready to play in this game.
Oh, every game. I mean, people have kind of written them off since they lost to Tennessee in Vegas, and it's their only loss. They lost to Tennessee in Vegas. It was a close one, and people have kind of written them off since. But it's still Houston. It's still Kelvin Sampson. I mean, give the man some credit. He's going to get his team ready for any game for the rest of the season, and they're going to look like this. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't lose a single game until March, if that's the case. Like or not at all. Like they're a good enough team. They can beat anybody pretty much. I think they can still go head to head with the Michigans and Arizonas and stuff if you put them up against them right now. They're a good team. So, and especially against a good Arkansas team who people think could win the SEC and have looked great recently. I mean, man, it's just they kind of dominated them. Even though they only won by 9, they pretty much dominated them and took that game out of reach.
Yeah, I'll say the SEC. The SEC is going to be pretty interesting to see with all those good teams. I think I know a lot of people wonder who's going to win the SEC. I've just seen Vanderbilt up there. We've talked about Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee. I'm in Florida. Bunch of big names or a bunch of pretty cool. So we'll see how that plays out in the SEC.
Yeah, I think Florida still has the best odds to win the SEC right now. I think they're like 34%. But speaking of another team that could, the people I think kind of got back on the train of winning the SEC, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, hey man, they beat St. John's. They beat them 78-66.
Jaden
Good.
Quaintance?
Yeah, Jaden
Jaden
Quaintance is back, and it might be their savior. Who knows? He might be who they needed.
he had a big impact on the game. I mean, you could just tell. I mean, it was you watch the game. I mean, as soon as Jaden Quaintance entered, it was a different ball game.
Uh, I mean, pretty much. He only had 10 points, but it's another guy, if you're playing Kentucky, that you have to watch out for. And it gives someone like, it honestly, this is the best game you've seen all year from Kentucky. And it's because Otega Owe could score the ball. He kind of dominated that game. He kind of took it over. He had 22 points, and all because of Quaintance being back. Because
Yeah,
if you're playing Kentucky like St. John's, you have to look for Quaintance now. You have to, you have to guard him. You have to put another guy on him. You have to worry about him. So it gets guys like Owe who haven't really been what they should be so far this year. It gets them chances to score the ball and play the game that they know how to play.
yeah. I mean, talk about Owe played well. Huge, great game for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you look at the stat sheet, you may not think Quaintance had a big impact, but if you watch the game, you saw the impact he
Yeah.
made on the court. I
Yeah.
mean, big difference maker and a huge win for Kentucky. And I know I didn't mention when we're talking about the SEC conference players, but things might be turned around for this team.
For sure, for sure. I know their odds went up a lot since they won that game. St. John's looking pretty pitiful. Not gonna lie, not what people thought they would be. But like we talked about earlier, the Big East is open, so we'll still see some. We'll probably still see them run a bit of that for sure. A couple other big games that happened. Michigan State played Oakland in their yearly sweater contest. This year it was naughty or nice on the refs. But Michigan State put out a win by 9 points over Oakland. Good game there to watch, always is. And North Carolina State thought they were going to lose to Ohio State. Not going to lie. I thought they were going to lose. They barely pulled it off, 71-70, but there was a good chance for them to lose that game.
Yeah, a very close game. Very close.
Yeah. Caleb Wilson had 20 points for them, though, so good for them. UVA got a close win over Maryland. Probably shouldn't have been that close, but 80-72.
Could be a dark horse ACC team.
Yeah. Dalen Hall had 20 points, and he looked pretty good. So, could be, like you said, there's a good chance. A couple other games to mention. I know the Bonnies for you. They had a close game there with Lemoyne. It couldn't have been, shouldn't have been, well, it shouldn't have been that close, but they pulled out a win.
Hey, no fear in the Bonnies, man. They're back.
Hey, they were losing early in that game, and I
was like, oh boy. But
and I know you were worried about it, but
no need to fear.
yeah, they won. I did want to mention Xavier beat Georgetown on Saturday. Also, a water bottle hit a child in that game. Not the only thing that Georgetown's coach threw a water bottle into the stands and nailed a kid square in the face. Nailed him. Was not throwing it at the kid, but definitely it was a bad throw. He nailed the kid. Yeah. He nailed it. They did lose that game though. Fair and square though. He did throw the bottle for a good reason, but again, I can't say it was a good reason enough to hit a kid.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know who in the right mind goes up to the free throw line and says we're going to miss this when we're up 3. Don't understand.
Well,
but that happened. Then what? I don't think. Sunday games. If I can pull this up. Are there any good ones yesterday? UConn played DePaul. They won that one pretty easily. DePaul was looking all right, but going into conference play, it'll probably be rough for them. Gonzaga beat Oregon by 9, 91-82. Braden Smith had 21 points. Gonzaga looked good. Hey, I know people talk about Gonzaga, but they look like a good team. Vanderbilt didn't have a close game on Sunday. They played Wake Forest, and they dominated Wake Forest, beat them up 98-67. Nebraska won another game to get themselves to, 13-0 now?
Mm-hmm.
So, good win for them. And that's pretty much... Oh, I did want to mention Notre Dame did lose to Purdue, Fort Wayne.
Coach Deion said, "There's no Christmas for me."
I saw that. He said his Christmas was ruined.
You should never lose that game.
His family might have to go buy their own gifts. They're not getting any from him.
Nothing.
So yeah, no good for them for sure. That's just a really bad loss. Illinois State beat Indiana State. St. Louis, another great win for them. They look like a great team. They look like a great team. Great team in the A10 for sure. I know you love the A10, so it'll be good to see. And then other than that, not really much happened. Today, Illinois beat Mizzou by a lot, 91-48. Mizzou might just go winless in the SEC again. Could happen. Just putting it out there. Not saying it's going to, but it could definitely happen, especially seeing that today. Not too great. Other than that, San Diego State did find their offense against Whittier today, but Georgetown played Coppin State without their coach because that coach was suspended for one game, but they were playing the 336th ranked Coppin State team, so it didn't really matter. But other than that, that pretty much covers all of the basketball for the last week.
Are you ready for the stress meter?
Yeah, we can do that.
Got a couple teams for you. So I know we don't have to repeat teams, but I'm going to repeat one because I really got to know. St. John's going to start this list.
Like a 6. Just, I mean, it would be higher, but like we said, the Big East is not great, and they could still easily place second in the Big East and get in that large bid. They've lost to good teams. They really haven't lost anybody bad. I know Kentucky didn't look like a great loss going into that game, but again, with like we said, with Quaitons being back, it might not be as bad of a loss as it seems right now. So I think they can definitely still win the Big East and still make a good run. So worried because they haven't looked great, but not too worried because they don't play in a great conference.
Yeah. And again, like I said, I think Big East 2, 3, and 4 up for grabs. And who knows? One team may be able to beat UConn, but I think 2, 3, 4 up for grabs. Next one's gonna be NC State. I kind of want to mention them last week, but I'm going to bring them kind of into this week, kind of carrying over how they've been playing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'd probably say probably like a 5. Honestly, it'd probably be more than that. Probably like an 8, actually, because the problem, NC State hasn't looked great. They haven't looked like they need to be, and especially to compete into the ACC, not great. So it's going to take quite a miracle for them to turn it around, to play good enough in the ACC. Now, again, ACC doesn't look like it's going to be too amazing. There are a few teams that can compete, and obviously the top teams are going to stay up there. But they could definitely still place like 5th or 6th in the ACC and potentially get an at-large bid if they can play good enough. The only problem I see is their wins in conference not being high enough ranked to get them into an at-large. But I don't know. I think like an 8 for them. They just haven't looked like they should be looking.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the ACC is going to be interesting to see what Will Wade does with that team there. I'm going to move to another team very bad or has played bad this year and might not even make the tournament, Wisconsin.
As of right now, they're not going to make the tournament. They've got to win the Big Ten, basically. Their non-conference schedule is terrible. They've lost a ton of games. They're on track to miss the tournament very easily. They just haven't looked great at all. They've looked pitiful. They can't really do anything. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, people thought they were going to be good, and it's just it's dwindled. fast. It's kind of snowballed just into a hot mess for Wisconsin. So I'd say probably like a 9. They might not do too much in the Big Ten, honestly. There's a good chance they don't win that many games and they don't make the tournament this year.
Yeah, I mean, concerning for Wisconsin. They got blown out by Nebraska earlier on, which Nebraska's a good team, but I thought they'd at least compete a little more. I'm concerned for that team, and again, they're probably gonna miss the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so we're gonna merge into now the big talk of the week, the college football playoffs.
Yep.
Big weekend. It began. Before we do that, though, some quick news for the transfer portal. Byron Brown, USF quarterback, entered today. Of course, it's speculated that he will follow Alex Golesh to Auburn. That is what's speculated right now.
And
Could be
saying
true,
that,
but we will see there. That was a big news.
and saying that, Ashton Daniels has entered the transfer portal from Auburn.
I have seen
So
something.
opens a spot.
I thought I saw something like someone was predicting him to go to UNLV. Obviously, it's like random people's predictions. I would love for him to go to UNLV, except I think Calandria still got another year. So unfortunately,
Yeah, I don't know.
and I don't know if he does. I think he
That could
does.
be a good that could be a good pickup for y'all. Not gonna lie.
I think so.
He didn't look
I
too
mean,
bad playing once Freeze left. He didn't look too bad, especially in the Kentucky game that they played the next week. They put up like 44 points. They looked
yeah,
great.
I'd love for him to go to UNLV, but obviously, Calandria's still there. I was worried
I
behind
don't
him.
know.
Well,
Yeah, true. But Byron Brown in the transfer portal is big. If Auburn could pick him up, if he does go to Auburn, probably battling with Deuce Knight for the starter, and that should be a great battle. Two great quarterbacks, kind of the same, same body type, same play style, what they want to be playing. So that'll be interesting for Auburn if he does go there. If not, he could be a great quarterback for pretty much any team he goes to, and I think he'll go to somewhere big or an SEC school at that if he does not go to Auburn.
Definitely, and that was huge. All right, so now let's get into the meat of the show.
Yep.
Let's start out with Friday night's game. What a game, so I would say. Alabama, Oklahoma. Oklahoma up 17-0.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama scored 7 unanswered, and there's just nothing much else to be said. It's a wild game.
It was a great game at that. It was a great game. Loved watching it, and probably the best first round playoff game we've seen so far. Not gonna lie, in the last 2 years.
It was one of the best we've seen for sure.
It was just again, like you said, Oklahoma got off to a hot start, a very hot start. Got up 17-0. We talked about this the other day. Mateer was not getting any pressure by the Alabama defense. Nothing was coming to him. He was to be able to stand in the pocket and make some throws. And then when he was getting pressured, he was getting out of the pocket easily, making some plays on his feet and getting yards for them, and very easily moving the ball up and down the field. And the opposite for for Alabama was they were getting pressured by Oklahoma. Oklahoma's line was getting to Ty Simpson. He was making him throw really quickly, getting him kind of off schedule, not really going through his reads well, and trying to get these kind of longer these longer plays going and couldn't because he didn't have the time because of the pressure. And they also couldn't run the ball. What a surprise. Yeah, and just couldn't move down the field.
Both these teams couldn't run the ball. Oklahoma had 55 rushing yards. Alabama had 28.
Yeah, not great running for them, but it's switched, like you said.
Yeah, and one total turnover in this game, and I think to me it changed the whole dynamic of the game.
Oh yeah, we said this the other day. Man, it was just like it flipped switches, and when Oklahoma was getting pressure on Alabama, all of a sudden, the fourth drive, Alabama comes out after another score by Oklahoma. They come out and it just looked completely different. And Alabama, instead of trying to hit these long plays, these slow developing plays, Ty Simpson was getting the ball out of his hand within the first 2 seconds of every play. It was just snap out, and he was getting this ball to his playmakers, and they were making plays, and they were getting on the field, and it looked extremely easy for Alabama all of a sudden. That from going from not being able to move the ball at all, they come to this drive and they're moving it on the field in 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing was stopping them. These quick throws, Ty Simpson looked great in the pocket. They completely just switched the game for them, and they score, and then they get back down, kick a field goal, get it to 10, and then, like you said, man, they started getting pressure on Mateer in Oklahoma, like Oklahoma was doing to Ty Simpson. And they come out one play, show a blitz, get up on the line. Mateer's kind of in a hurry now because he's been pressured, he's been sacked. He's kind of he's thinking he's got to get this ball out quick. And he's got this read. It's a read option for the wide receiver all the way on the far left side. He's thinking the wide receiver is going to stop and just sit. It's going to be a quick comeback, pretty much a quick curl. Instead, Mateer doesn't look. Alabama drops back off the line, doesn't bring a blitz, drops back into coverage. Cornerback cuts the route because the wide receiver doesn't sit and just takes it to the house.
You can always cut the route. Dude was just looking at it. I mean, he was just waiting. He was locked eyes with John Mantelli. He was just waiting for that ball to get there.
Yeah.
But I want to give credit to Ty Simpson because I talked about it. I really didn't have a lot of confidence in seeing what this team would do. But I got to give credit where it's deserved. He played well, made some great throws in that second half, and you got to give credit. He turned it around for them. He played well.
True.
And I said when we were previewing the game, he's got to be a difference maker in this game.
And he was.
The ground game didn't show up as I kind of would have expected it not to, but he answered the call. He made a difference in this game, and I got to give credit for that. He played well. I mean, if they want to win this game, he had to show up and play well, and he did in the second half. And honestly, late in the first half. But,
and I mean, Ty Simpson looked great. Threw for 232 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Didn't make any mistakes. And Alabama, you said this to me the other day, was honestly, Alabama didn't look as good as they probably could have. They had a lot of drops. Their wide receivers were not catching balls that they probably should be. And Ryan Williams, still don't know what happened to him, don't know where he's gone. But he's got to get more touches. He's got to get more catches. Their freshman had the most yards receiving. Brooks for 579 and 2 touchdowns. He had the 2 touchdowns that Simpson threw.
I'll say the sad thing about the Ryan Williams thing was I remember I was talking to Alabama fans at the beginning of the year. We were talking if Williams, was the one or this was start of the year. We're oh, this dude could make the 1 or 2. Yeah, Bernard and
you got Horton.
Yeah, Bernard Horton. I thought, okay, probably the 1 or 2, probably the 2. This dude fell off the map.
Yeah, 1 reception for 5 yards in that game, and over the last 4 games he has 63 or something, 64 yards in total.
Yeah, and it's a struggle to see that. But I'll tell you this, man. You look at the game. They could have played. I don't know. Could they have played a lot better? Sure, but no matter what, this is Alabama. They won the game. They did what they needed to do. They're going to compete with everybody. That's Alabama football.
Yeah. They've
done what they needed to do. And again, they played well. Ty Simpson, a lot of credit. I mean, like I said, he had to play well if they wanted to win this game. If the run game didn't show up as I knew it, as I kind of expected, but I said he had to show up, and he did. He answered the call. He played well, and that's good for him.
Yeah, Oklahoma couldn't finish it off, couldn't make a comeback, and only scored 7 points after the 17 to begin with. So, no good for them. But hey, Kalen DeBoer gets a good win, and moving on to play Indiana in the Rose Bowl. So, I thought it would be an interesting matchup. It was basically the best team ever versus the worst team ever, and they flipped.
Literally.
So, yeah. So, big game. Big game coming then. Obviously, the game's on January the 1st. But moving on to some other games here. Obviously, the second game of the
That was
weekend
this game.
was Miami and Texas A&M.
I mean,
Yeah,
if you look,
it was
I mean,
bad.
I'll say this: our score predictions are pretty darn close, Jaden. I mean, they really were. I think I had 38-33 as the as my final score prediction.
Yeah. If you call that close, then yeah, we were about as close as we could be. Um, terrible, terrible. That's all I'm going to say. Terrible. That game was ugly to
This,
watch. They couldn't do. Neither team could do anything. The wind was howling, and yeah, I mean, both teams just came out stalemates. It's like we were playing chess, but we, we forgot that we could actually get the other players. Like
say
it was
the
bad.
both offenses are moving the ball, into the opponent
Yeah,
territory. Except Miami's kicker went 1 for 4 in that
yeah.
game.
Mm-hmm.
A&M's kicker he got blocked or the hook from like 30-ish.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this: defense played well. I knew I expected defense to play well, but if you don't like defensive games, I mean, this one would have been a hard one to watch.
Well, first ever playoff game to be 0-0 at half. 0-0 at half. Not a single point scored in the first half. It was bad. A lot of missed field goals, like you said. Teams, they again, like you said, they weren't really not moving the ball. They were moving the ball pretty well, but they would get into their opponent's side of the field, and just completely stall out. They couldn't do anything. And then when they kicked, they couldn't make anything. So second half came around, and we were expecting maybe both offenses kind of pick it up. We knew the defenses were good, but at the same time, offenses needed to click, and neither of them really did. Obviously, uh, 3 points scored by both teams, going into a tie at 3-3. Finally, some kicks made, and then towards the end of the game, Miami gets the ball. They're driving down the field. Finally, for the first time in a while, they're getting down the field, doing it well, just running the ball, quick play after quick play after quick play. I think it took them like 4 plays to get in the red zone. That's it. When all
Yeah,
game it took them 4 plays to get 15 yards.
and we'll get to that. I'll get to the players in a minute. But yeah, they drove the ball down the field. Um, like you said, finally got down the field.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and then they hand the ball to the person we said they needed to get the ball to. Well, all day. And yeah, there was what we said. If they wanted to win this game, they needed to hand it to Malachi Tony, or they needed to get the ball in his hands, because he's the best playmaker for them. And yeah, he scored the touchdown on a jet sweep, and bang, touchdown, first touchdown of the game. And finally, somebody has scored, and we've seen a score on the board other than a three.
It gets much better after that. Like that's when it gets better because A&M now finally decides, hey, maybe we need to get down the field.
We're gonna move the ball, and they do. They move the ball.
Four. Was it the 5 or 4?
Believe the 4.
And then Marcel Reed throws an interception in the end zone.
Bang.
Right
Bang.
to
him. They had chances, man. They had chances to score, and Marcel didn't look good all day. Obviously had 3 turnovers on the day, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I think
and a fumble.
one of those turnovers kind of forced the ball down the field. I think it was like 3rd and 17. I think it's a tough thing in your mind. You want to get the first down, but there's also times, in a close game as it is, you got to just take what you can get. If you have to, make a check down, punt the ball away, your defense has played well. But tough one, tough break for A&M at home.
Man, to only score 3 points at home in the 12th man.
They get another surprise. Great defenses. By my score prediction, you can clearly tell I thought some points would be scored.
Both of us thought. I think everybody thought this game would be a lot more than this. I mean, this was a 10-3 was nowhere close what I saw most predictions.
The defenses played well. I'll say that, but the offenses both seem to be really sputtering.
Mark Fletcher, obviously, he played great for Miami. 17 carries for 172 yards. Obviously,
I
had
was
the
just
big 56-yard run uh, on that drive for Miami to go down and score the first ever touchdown of the game. He looked great for them. That's the bright spot for them. And the bright spot being their defense looked great. But now they get to play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl.
yeah, and I guess as I was going to mention, get ready to mention Mark Fletcher. What a second half! He
Yeah.
opened up. I mean, he had a couple big runs that second half. He opened up the game for them. He played really well. Like I said, 172 yards and 17 carries. He made a difference. He opened up. He got him onto the 30. Actually, he actually ended up getting him down to the 10, 20 yard line
Mm-hmm.
before Malachi Tony. What a player, man! Just what a player. Bunch of
Yeah.
them, and he had a fumble earlier in the game, and he kind of bounced back right after that.
Yeah. But
Again,
again, Miami moves on with a win, and they get to play Ohio State, which their defense is going to have to be probably better than it was. And on Saturday, and their offense has got to be 10 times better
we're always going
because
to have to be a lot better. I mean,
yeah,
this
because
Ohio
Ohio State it can score a little bit more than a Texas A&M can.
and this defense is better than that Texas A&M defense, and A&M's got a defense.
Yeah, arguably. And if that's the case, then we don't know what we could see from Miami in general. Now moving on to the third game of the weekend, which was kind of pitiful. Not gonna lie, not much to talk about from this game, but Tulane, Ole Miss, obviously playing in Oxford. Ole Miss coming in without their coach and Lane Kiffin, and yeah, it went about as well as people could imagine. Um,
It did.
I mean, Ole Miss scored quickly, very quickly. What three plays, 3-4 plays,
I
first
think
drive.
it took him like 46 seconds to score.
Yeah, Lacey right down the field. Like we said, like I said last week on Thursday, was the one thing Tulane could not let happen was just let Lacey take over this game like he did in that Mississippi State game,
And
run all
another,
over them because they were going to lose the game like this. And what happens? They let
and
him
they
do it, and this is what happens.
and they had a bunch of missed tackles in that game as well. I think they were one of the bottom 20 in the country in missed tackles. If I'm right
Mm-hmm.
about that, they were one of the bottom teams, a lot of missed tackles. Um, their defense sputtered a lot, kind of what we weren't expecting. But I will say this, and you got to credit Tulane, and we'll get to JMU talk about the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They moved the ball really well down the field. I mean, if you watch the game, they were moving the ball. I mean, it wasn't
That is true. That is true. They
it
the
really
first
could.
drive they had after that score by Ole Miss, they're driving down the field. They're getting third down after third down after third down. Retzloff's making throws. Players are making catches, and then they bring some pressure on a third down. Retzloff throws a slant, and it gets picked. And I think that's kind of they needed to score there because I just felt like if not, if it was going to become kind of a runaway like we thought, and Ole Miss gets the interception. 3 plays later, they're back in the end zone. Hey, now they're down 14. So Tulane starts driving down the field again, third down after third down after third down. Couldn't do anything with it. It's just they didn't. Yeah, like you said, they didn't move the ball horrendously, but when they got into Ole Miss territory, they couldn't do anything with it. Obviously, as you see by the score, they only scored 10 points, and the touchdown was late. So, like, they got into their side of the field, but once they did, it was like Ole Miss defense just said, "Hey, we're not letting you get any further,"
Mhm.
and just stopped them.
Yeah, and that summed this game up. I mean, you didn't miss much. Tulane moved the ball, but there's nothing much else to be said. It's just how it
Yeah,
goes.
yeah. And then moving on to the last game of the night, score wise, it looks like it was quite a game. It really wasn't,
I just
but
say for the record, Jaden, that JMU covered the spread.
I know he
That's all.
did. I know he did. I know.
Cover that spread.
I know. Yeah, they did indeed, and you were right. My prediction of Tulane covering the spread was nowhere close. Your prediction of JMU covering the spread was good. Not gonna lie, they did cover it. They were and same thing like Tulane, man. Oregon comes out, scores the ball very easily, and we're thinking this could be really bad. JMU gets the ball, They drive down the field very methodically, just slow. Took like 8 minutes, their longest drive of the year on this Oregon defense. Got it down there, kept going, and then kind of sputtered once it got into the red zone. Couldn't really get anything going, and had to kick a field goal, but good field goal. They cut the score in half because Oregon went through for a 2 point conversion for a flea flicker and missed it. So 6-3, and thinking, well, the offense looks really good for JMU, but their defense looks really bad. And their defense did look really bad. Next drive, Oregon scores again. JMU's got to go back down. They're driving the ball again. Can't do anything with it. It's really what it was for most of the game, for the first half at least. James Madison scored a few points in the first half. I mean, like you said, their offense played really good, but their defense was nowhere to be found for them. And that
Yeah,
was really the problem.
and you kind of pointed out, and we've talked about both these offenses. I talked about Jake Retzlaff, what he was
Mm-hmm.
able to do, great quarterback. Alonzo Barnett, another
Yeah.
good guy at JMU. I mean, both these teams have offenses, I think, to play with these teams. Um, but again, defensively, a major gap.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
just
think,
it's hard. It's hard when you have a team like JMU who only has 3 stars or less, and you're going up against a team who has multiple 5 stars, a ton of 4 stars,
yeah,
and that's who you're playing against. You haven't seen guys like this all year. You haven't played against guys like this. They're faster, they're quicker, they're more athletic, they're bigger. All the above, all the things that make it difficult for a team like JMU to stay in it, and they just couldn't cover them. And they made a couple of stops, a couple of good ones, but at the same time, they didn't do anything in the first half to even make this game a close one.
yeah. And again, that's just how it goes. It's funny, like, and again, the talent level is different. I think this is where the conversation is going to be, the debate's going to remain.
Yeah.
Should Power Five conferences be allowed, or excuse me, Group of Five conferences be
Mm.
allowed?
Yeah.
Um, that's a debate. I've talked to so many people about that. I mean, the number of people I hear all sides to it.
And
Um,
look, you got to say, JMU looked good. They put up 509 yards against this Oregon defense,
yeah,
and that's a number that hasn't even come close. This is the most points put on the Oregon defense all year. Their offense was amazing. Like you said, Barnett, great quarterback, and then Wayne Knight, great
yeah,
running back.
I forgot to mention him.
Yeah, two great players, two of the better players in the country at that. I don't think most people recognize that, but they're amazing, and they put up the numbers that they pretty much needed to have a chance in this game. Just their defense, like we said, slacked. And if their defense could have only made a couple more stops, this game could have been maybe potentially a lot closer. But it becomes hard when your defense can't make those stops. And even though this JMU team put up 509 yards and put up 34 points, they still lose this game by 17. And I think that will be the debate. Obviously, like you said, do Group of Five teams deserve to have a spot in the playoffs? I think this JMU team kind of showed that. I think it shows that one is fine. It didn't come from the team that people thought it would come from. People thought that Tulane was going to be the team to show that, especially being that they were the better Group of Five going into the playoffs. But James Madison, said, "Hey, hold up, we might be." And showed that they probably were. And even though they weren't supposed to be in the playoffs, they put up a lot of yards, they put up a lot of points, they gave themselves a chance. And I think, I know we're not going to get into the debate tonight, but I think Group of Five teams, I think this showed that at least one deserving, whether it stays at 12 teams or it goes to 16 teams here in the near future,
Yeah.
JMU
Um,
showed that they can compete in the offensive side. It's just the talent level on the defensive side that makes it hard.
and one day, we probably once the college football season ends, we'll make it. We're going to talk about it. We'll make
Yeah.
probably just do a video, literally just talking straight about that.
Mm-hmm.
But the conversations to be had. Um, I told you, I think the best Group of Five team, no matter if you go off the rankings, however you do it, I think the best Group of Five team should have a chance to compete for a spot.
Sure.
Um, that's just my thought. I mean, I think it makes it entertaining, makes it interesting. But at the end of the day, people will disagree. People say, well, we don't want the 12 best teams. And at the end of the day, we'll never find a happy solution for everybody. I mean, that's
No.
just kind of goes. But a good week, good round one playoff
Yeah.
matchups. We're
Um.
definitely ready for
Yeah.
quarterfinals, which we'll be
And
previewing week
we didn't
one.
mention, the games for that, but obviously Ole Miss will rematch Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. That'll be a good game. We'll see if Ole Miss can keep it going. They looked great against Tulane, so can they keep it going without Lane Kiffin being there? And then obviously with Oregon winning this game over James Madison, they will be playing Texas Tech.
That's one.
Those three games on January the 1st, obviously Miami, Ohio State on December 31st. Those will be great games. I'm really looking forward to the Texas Tech Oregon game. I think that'll be a high scoring game. Two great offenses. But
No
also,
sweat.
obviously, like we said, Alabama, Indiana, best program in the nation versus the worst program in the nation. So,
The
and they flip
staff,
spots.
the staff squad was not the Oregon offense. Okay,
True.
Texas Tech and then
True.
Raider is not that Oregon offense. I will
Yeah,
say,
but
um, I think in my two brackets I made my wish list. I think I had Texas Tech winning. That's like my wish, and then I think my realistic, which maybe a little too early prediction, but I did have Georgia winning. I think we did it earlier, but I'm
yeah,
excited.
I
These next matchups, I'm excited. Fun stuff coming up.
they should be
Plus,
great.
plus a lot of great stuff going on around the sports world. So we're excited.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Those matches will be great. We can't wait till 31st and 1st to watch those. Um, they'll be great games. Hopefully, they have a little more offense than the Texas A&M Miami game.
I sure
But
hope.
who knows? Maybe they're all defensive games. Maybe they all do the complete opposite of what we expect. Um, and I know we didn't mention it, but Alabama is going to have to get better on the run side of the ball, playing the Indiana team with a great defensive line and a great defense. And they can't
Yeah,
really just force Ty Simpson to throw the ball. That is one thing we didn't mention with this Indiana team. But we'll see.
and, and I mean, like I said, we're gonna obviously go over once we get closer to game time. I think that following Monday or whatever, we'll go over like actually preview. We'll dig deep into it. But fun stuff coming up, fun week, a lot of great stuff coming ahead, a lot of sports stuff going on. So we're gonna be busy this Christmas break.
You were cutting out there, so I didn't really hear much that you said. But I did know you said we would be busy over this Christmas break with
Yeah, that's
sports.
all I said
So,
basically. I was
yeah.
like,
Um, but that should, yeah, there's a lot of things going on. Obviously, transfer portal, all that. I did want to mention one news in the CFB and college football world. Bobby Petrino could be going to, well, is going to UNC to be the offensive coordinator.
is yeah, it was. I knew I was like sitting here like thinking to myself, I'm like, I feel like we're forgetting something that really happened today. The
Yeah,
Unks, man, the oldies,
Arkansas head coach going to be the OC with Bill Belichick
the Unks.
at UNC. Yeah,
I'm just
UNC and the Unks. Yep, yep.
the little Unks.
Yeah, yeah. It should be interesting. Two. It's an interesting coaching matchup. I don't think I've ever would have saw in my life be together in the same team.
No, sir.
Arkansas's offense has been good. They ranked sixth in the SEC, and they've been, that really isn't usually the problem with Arkansas is their offense. So maybe you put them on the UNC squad, get some recruits. Bill Belichick has his full year of recruits and transfer portal for the first time this next year. Maybe they get something going. Maybe they find a good team. They had some sparks this year towards the end of the year that kind of made them look like they were maybe treading in the right direction. But we'll see if that their offense was really bad. So we'll see if Petrino can get them on the right direction for that. Um, yeah. Anything else you can think of news wise?
Nothing today. I'm gonna do my best. Obviously, Christmas is on Thursday, so we won't be getting a video out. But I do plan on recording a hockey video on Friday, just kind of about the playoff picture. And I think I'm gonna try. We'll try and get an NFL playoff picture video in before Christmas as well, before the Christmas Day slate. or at least one of us will at least get something out there, just at least talking about it, especially after the Monday night game right now, which the score is.
It's currently 34-20. Phillip Rivers still, they're driving their first and goal right now. So Phillip Rivers looks great tonight, though, we'll say.
Winning the game?
Yes.
Figure.
Phillip Rivers looked great tonight so far. I think he has let's see how many yards he has real quick.
He's got, hold, I'm on it. He's got
235. Yeah, for 2 touchdowns. 21 of 30. He's currently throwing the ball right now 1 yard line for the Colts. So should be a score here to make it a 7-point game, more than likely. San Francisco's still in the hunt for the 1 seed. And the Colts are still in the hunt to stay in the playoffs. They got to win all their games and get some help from Jacksonville or Denver. And then San Francisco's still in the hunt for the 1 seed. They've got to get some help with the Los Angeles Rams and the Seahawks. So, but yeah, good game. Good game going on. Other than that, yeah, I think we've covered everything tonight. Like Easton mentioned, won't be doing a video on Thursday. We might not be doing a pod on Monday. We'll see. If we are, we will post something about it. If not,
out there of some sort.
If not, we will cover whatever we can. And we should be back next Thursday, which should mean that we will cover there'll probably be one still going on, but we'll cover CFP playoffs and seeing what's going on then. We'll obviously get scores and everything. So, and then basketball, we'll cover a ton of stuff. We'll have a ton of stuff covered. So, yeah. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and we'll see y'all in a week and a half.